to Tea Time with Free. I'm here with Mitch Credle, and I'm going to be talking to him, and he's going to be serving me the tea about what he's doing here in our city. Hello, Mitch.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
That's great. I'm doing good.
That's good. I see you've been really busy in this city lately.
Yes, I'm just here venturing into the film world and giving people opportunities.
That's great. There has been a lot of buzz about how you were on Fox 5, and I got up specifically at that time so I would not miss you. How was that interview?
Well, the Fox 5 interview was, it was, how can I put it? It was a great experience. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect to get the phone call from them to come on their show, right. But I most definitely was honored to be able to do it. Just like the other day when I did CNN, I was shocked just to get the phone call, right. And to go on there as well, I was shocked. So the experiences are very humbling, but they're most definitely experiences that I appreciate.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How did you go from being a cop to a film producer?
Well, I've always been like a community person.
Okay.
So I've always been in tune with the community. My motto was always community policing. So by me being a police officer so long in D.C., I was always in touch with people and their stories.
Right.
And when I became a homicide detective young in my career, I'm talking at the age of maybe 25 years old, mm-hmm. I became a homicide detective. And I was able to use that experience all of them years of homicide. I was a homicide maybe 23, 24 years. Mm-hmm. So I was able to use all those experiences and just accumulate a great deal of stories. So I started writing books.
Okay.
I wrote my first book, which I can't publish yet. It's mm-hmm. called Homicide Me, Living Black and Blue. That's still sitting on the shelf, but right. one day I'm going to publish it. It's a true story about my life as a homicide detective. Okay. And then I said, well, let me venture into fictional books. So that's when I published Strange in the Streets and Damaged Roots. Okay. And from there, I said, well, since I enjoy writing, let me venture into filmmaking.
Okay. So what is your writing process like? How do you get motivated? How do you get, your ideas, of course, coming from your profession? How do you get to the place of writing and creating the films that you make?
Well, my writing technique is a little different than probably some others. I don't think about what I'm gonna write. Mm-hmm. I just start writing. And if I say, okay, Mitch, let's write about story about, like my first book, Undercover Cop. Okay. I said, let me write about Undercover Cop. I had no idea where the story was gonna start. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea where it was gonna end. My style is simple. I just get down, I know what I'm gonna write about as far as the topic. And I just start writing. As I'm writing, the story develops. It's almost like freestyle rapping. Right. Like I can't rap a lick, but I can write. I can write lyrics probably. Right. So that's my style, just basically freestyle. I just write as I go.
So how do you think your film and books will encourage young black men in our community?
Well, first I think it would inspire a great many of them because I was one person who they always saw in the community, mm-hmm. and I'm still a person who they see in the community. So when they see me as a police officer making the transition from dealing with crime and social issues, community stuff, and venturing into filmmaking, that can show them that they can be able to do what they want to do. Because what I always do when I preach to young guys and young ladies and at some of the schools and rec centers, whatever, mm-hmm. I let them know that if I can make a movie at the age of 52, mm-hmm. with you all being so technically more advantaged than what I am, mm-hmm. you all can do it. Right. So I try to inspire them that way and just to let them know that their dreams can be reachable. Because, of course, I spent 29 years as a police officer and a few years doing this here. And I just want them just to be encouraged. And I really want them to look at me and be like, if he can do it, I can do it.
Right, right. A couple months ago, you were having your film Boss premiered at the Howard Theater. And how did that go for you? Did you get the support from D.C. like you thought you would get support from D.C.?
Well, to be honest with you, due to the Redskins mm-hmm. playoff game, I thought it was going to be a terrible turnout. Okay. I really did. But even with the Redskins playing, and mm-hmm. a lot of people, probably over maybe 70-something people kept sending me messages, I'm sorry, I got tickets to the game, won't be able to make it. We still had a great turnout. Right. Thank God for Dwayne Nutt who set it up for us. But we had over 600 people at the Howard Theater regardless of the Redskins game. Right. So we only had 600 seats. Right. Some people still stood up. and it was just a remarkable event, and I was honored to have the first movie ever to play at the Howard Theater.
Right. I had looked that up, and I was like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like that's pretty big. That's like
it's always be part of history, and it was just a good feeling to go past there some days and see the Boss poster on the calendar.
Right.
It was just it was cool, and for me as a young filmmaker into the game, for me it's always been about my cast.
Right.
You know, I always want to give them that first class experience on how things should be. Like even at the other two premieres we did, red carpet photos, we had food, drinks. I mean, it was just something, you know, that they're not used to, and I want to show the people who spend all them long hours with me appreciation by giving them first class treatment at the viewings.
Exactly, that was great. How about this? Do you think, or let me say this, why do you think the talent in DC, you know, we be having a lot of scrutiny, you know what I'm saying, like not a lot of support with even our own city when we are trying to make a difference in our city on, you know, music, writing, producing, you know what I'm saying, a talk show host, you know?
Well, first of all, DC is I wouldn't say is brand new to filming, because Hollywood come here and film all the time, but they don't stay here.
Right.
What is Hollywood will come here, they may shoot a scene or two, then they will take our locations and build them in other cities. And with the tax breaks dealing with the DC film office and all that kind of stuff, it's really not a lot of incentives for them to come here and film, which now they're trying to change.
Right.
So as independent filmmakers, what we need to do is we need to stay here, develop our stories, our movies, everything, do it here, and show other cities. I'm not even thinking about Hollywood right now, but just show other cities and other people in other locations that we here in DC, we can create our own lane.
Right.
Because, I mean, just think about it. If you look at Atlanta was not the way it is a few years ago. They created their own lane, and boom, it blew up. Look at the underground music in Atlanta, how that blew up. Look at all these rappers and hip hop stars in Atlanta who just blew up because they did not give up. You know, they kept going, and that's what I encourage people here in DC, whether it's films, whether it's music, hip hop, rap, or whatever, R&B, whatever, go. Just keep grinding, be original, and create our own lanes, and then people will want to come here. Right. Opposed to us always wanting to go there.
Exactly.
Because people always talk about Atlanta, New York, Chicago, them places. I mean, people used to follow our trends years ago. Right. Now we following theirs. Right. So I think we need to get back to taking care of the home team. Okay, let me ask you this.
What is your casting, when you do your casting calls, what are the challenges that you face, and how do you handle the changes that you may go through?
Well, with the casting, I'll put out the information as far as I want people to send me their headshots, their bios, their monologues. A lot of people really haven't even done monologues. A lot of people I deal with right now are beginners. Right. So my guy Anthony Commodore just had a class teaching people how to do monologues, auditions, reels, and all that kind of stuff. So basically, I want people to submit information, and then when I'm writing my scripts, if I have characters I feel as though certain people can meet, I will contact them people for further interview or auditions or whatever. And then there's another way it can be done. I can put out a list of characters. I can list the age, the height, total description, and everything. People can apply that way towards characters. But with what I'm doing right now with Boss 2, the characters aren't really hard to feel. This is an urban fictional film, and everyone that I've been dealing with in reference to Boss and Boss 2, I mean, you grew up in DC. Right. How hard is it to play yourself? Right. You know, just follow the script and let's roll and let's rock. Right. And I did this on purpose as my first film. I didn't want it to be too complicated. Right. Now my next film I may do a love story, which may be a little more complicated for some, so therefore the casting would be much more different. Okay.
Do you think that by you being a film director or an author here in our city, that the young men and older men, you know, would, you know, come to support, you know, because like sometimes you put your business out there, you're showing everybody what you're doing, but at the same time they throwing shade because, you know, either they don't know about it, or they just, they are envious, and I found that to be like a real problem with us here, a challenge, because, you're doing great things here in the city, you know what I'm saying? And for young men to see that, they need to know, like, what is the process for me to get to whatever that, career choice that they're going to make. Can you give them a little bit of advice?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of envious, jealousy, hatred, shade throughout any type of business. That's just part of life.
Right.
And I'm quite sure I've experienced it. I mean, even if it was known or not known.
Right.
But with that, I don't pay any attention because once you're focused, all of that stuff is mute. You don't see it and you don't hear it, and you continue to rock forward. And what I tell young people is, like, when I see the people who inspire me, they inspired me. I didn't look at them like, oh man, he doing that.
Right.
If he could do it, I could do it. I didn't start hating on nobody.
Right.
Like the first person I've seen with that inspired me through film was Anthony Anderson. He has this web series called Anacostia. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, man. I'm like, golly, this is cool. So I started watching it, and so I started just following him, and that inspired me. All I had at the time was just one camera, but that inspired me because I had stories to tell, and I'm like, wow, I need to learn more about this business so I can start filming my stories. And then even when I looked at some of Bruce Brown films, old films, I mean, those guys inspired me. It didn't make me have envious, hatred, jealousy. I was inspired by them brothers. And that's what I want to do to other people. I don't want people to look at me and be like, "Oh man, that clown doing it, I could do it."
Right.
Now with young people, I want them to know that they can do it because I can do it.
Right.
But with older people, I want it to be more of a networking type thing.
Right.
I want them to be like, well, maybe I can reach out to this guy Mitch, and he can show me how to do it. He can help me how to do it. Maybe I can follow him on set or do things like that.
Right.
And it's about learning, growing, networking positively, and that's what it's all about. All this other stuff is I don't pay any attention.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I came to an event that you were having, a networking event. That's when I first met you, and some people that were in your movies, I knew them, and when I got in the atmosphere was so the vibe was so cool, and when I met you, you kind of like you embraced me like you knew me for years. I was like, dang, he down to earth. Because most people, when they doing things in the city, they kind of get like big-headed and stuff like that, And I've been in the city, I grew up in the city, and I've been having support. But when you took a notice to me, and you was like, welcoming, talking to me or whatever, took pictures with me or whatever, I was like, I got to do an interview with him. He got to be on Tea Time with Free. So, how do you manage being humble, like that down-to-earth guy?
Well, one thing, I don't want people to experience what I experienced when I first wanted to get involved with this. By me being in law enforcement for years, when I first wanted to venture into filmmaking, I offered my services to some guys to do some of their criminal consulting on their scenes and stuff, just so I can learn how to do this stuff. And people ignore me. No one called me. I used to show up at certain places just to, kick it with people, and no, they ain't want to talk to me. So I'm like, wow, damn, I'm like, whoa, man, these dudes like acting like they don't even want to talk to me.
Right.
So that experience that I went through, I don't want anyone to go through that.
Right.
So I'm always going to talk to people. I don't care what it's about. If they want to know something, if I know it, I'm going to help them. If I don't know it, I try to find the answers. And I don't want anyone to feel that way, because people have to stop thinking that other people are threats.
Right.
No one is a threat to me in any part of life.
Right.
If I want to know something, I'm going to ask questions.
Right.
If I can't get it, I'm gonna research it, and I want people to have that same drive when they come to approach me, because I'm gonna answer any questions you have. If I don't have it, I'm gonna get it for you or turn you into someone that may have it. But I'm about helping people, and that's what people have to understand is that we all had help from someone.
Right.
So stop acting like you can't help people and give people the guidance that they need to get where they're trying to go. Then you never know, they may be the same person that helps you later on down the road when you need something.
Exactly.
I don't like turning my back to people.
Right. So what do you have that you're doing right now? Like any new films coming out? I heard you mention about Boss 2. So can you tell me, you know, what you're doing and the viewers, what you're doing now?
Yeah, right now, before I even get to Boss 2, I just finished my filming and editing my 2 short story contest winners films. We're going to show them this Thursday, March 17th at Rose's Deja Vu. You're most definitely free to come if you want to. We're going to start at 7:30. Then once I get it out the way, I'm for my own production, I'm going to start Boss 2 sometime in April. And the only reason I'm doing a Boss 2 is because even with Boss 1, I filmed so much stuff with Boss 1. Even though it's 2 hours and 20 minutes long, I had to cut out 30 minutes.
Okay.
Because I didn't want it to be longer than the Titanic movie. But I want to finish telling the story. So I may do another hour and a half, maybe hour 45 minutes. Most definitely not 2 hours. And I just want to finish telling the story and then move on to another type of story. I want to do a love story. You know, I have a real good love story I want to tell. Then I got a good comedy I want to tell. I have a good movie related to the music of go-go. I mean, so many stories I want to tell, and I'm just gonna take my time and sit down with Big G, Anwar Glover, Backyard. He wants to work with me, so I told him that, dude, let's do something together. Yeah. So I have 2 options. I'm gonna go with him. Do you wanna do a love story where you show a different part of you? Right. Or do you want to show this go-go story? But either way, I'm gonna do both. It's just a matter of which one I'm gonna do first. Right. But I may go with the love story because I don't want to talk about it right here until I really get started with it. But it's a real good story. Right. I mean, it's deep. It's gonna make people cry, makes people feel bad. I want some dudes to cry in this one, you know. But it's a real good story. Right.
And I heard you say about, you know, the different stories as far as the go-go and the love story. But maybe you can combine them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I probably can. But they just 2 totally different stories. The one with the go-go, I've been talking with Dex Johnson. We just want to tell a story, a positive story in reference to the go-go about the music, the artists, the musicians, not the other negative stuff that people always try to associate with go-go. We want to show how Junkyard, how Backyard, how these bands started playing on buckets off the corner. I used to snatch Big G off the corner when he was youngin' to make him come to football practice. He up on 14th Park Road, beat on some buckets. I'm like, dude, you need to get down here and play some football. Right. So we just want to tell the story to show other people how in our culture, this music like raised us. You know, people look at it so negative, but it's not negative. Our musicians and artists, they are talented.
Yes, they are.
They play go-go, and go-go is more like, it's not in a box. It's more like it puts you in a zone. Right. You know, and I don't know why a lot of people look at it negatively. It's just music.
Right. And I think that, you know, coming from DC, being here, go-go, I love go-go. I loved it because those young men and young women are playing the instruments instead of going to the studio and you know, I really enjoyed it. And I think that you making a movie about that, you know, the history of it, the different bands that we have a lot of bands. You know,
and then that will show, that will help younger people. Right. You know, our younger people need to know that our artists and musicians are artists and musicians, and not just people who picking up a instrument and just start playing it. Some of these people went to school for this stuff. Right. They learned it.
Right. And I remember when I used to ride the subway, and they were with their buckets outside the subway cranking, and people be dancing and everything. So I think you should do, a story, a film about DC's music behind, of course, Chuck Brown, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely, the godfather of it all, and most definitely, homage and respect to him and the other guys that passed away, like Polo, right, Lil Benny, and some of the other guys, Big Weez. And it's just that, we have to look at Straight Outta Compton. Okay. They showed how that music with NWA got started. Right. I didn't know any of that stuff until I saw the movie. And we need to do that here with Go-Go. We need to develop a budget, get a good script, develop a budget, and with that budget, we need to hire name actors to play the roles in that way. And in that way, we can get people outside of DC area to be interested in this movie. Because we just do a movie using just DC people for a movie about go-go, only DC people going to see it.
Right.
But just imagine we have a Wood Harris or the guy Marlowe that played in The Wire. I mean, we have some named actors in a movie about showing the culture of go-go,
right,
then we will be able to, and Big G can be in, he's an actor,
right,
you know?
Right.
Then we can get people to, look, we got Trey Chaney. I'm just thinking of people just off the break. But we can get people to be in our movie. We can really let people outside of DC really know what our music is about. I
cannot wait. I cannot wait to see it. I cannot wait to, everything is put together in a way where, you know, us as Washingtonians, we can be like, Mitch did that. Mitch did that thing. So
not just Mitch, there'll be some other people involved.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to take credit for that.
Right.
I'm gonna sit down with a bunch of historians, some people who most definitely know about this more than I do, because I was a fan of go-go.
Right.
I wasn't part of go. The only thing I've done with the creation of anything dealing with go-go, I started a youth band called How to Respect It. After one young gentleman was murdered, the young guys kept going back and forth with this neighborhood they were beefing with. So I went to them and said, what is I can do for you dudes to stop doing what you're doing?
Right.
And they said, man, we want to go, man.
Right.
So I went and spent like about $14,000 worth of equipment. We created and built their own studio in the Boys and Girls Club. And they created and formed their own band. And then older bands started wanting to come and use their studio because they didn't have equipment.
Right.
So it was something good. And that's my only experience with go-go. So I don't know the things that the Big G's, the Donnell Floyds, the James Funks. I don't know the experience them guys went through to get where they are. So I would have to sit down with those type of guys and some of the other people involved in it. Like the other day they had 50th birthday celebration for Bugs. I never even met Bugs. And if I wouldn't have saw Bugs on the video that I just saw on YouTube, I wouldn't know how he looked.
Right.
You know, so I want to get with those kind of guys and get things from them to create a story that everybody can enjoy. I don't care what color you are,
right,
your age, your gender, just something real nice.
Right, that's good. Can you tell the viewers how can they stay tuned and, you know, follow you, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, to keep up with what you're doing? Looking forward to, you know, seeing you grow and support you. Sure.
On Facebook, I'm Mitch Credle, MITCHCREDLE. On Instagram, the same. On Twitter, it's CRELLC, all capital letters. I have a webpage, mitchcredle.com, and that's about it. And other than that, you just catch me everywhere in the city. Okay. Well, I'm so honored to be sitting here, you know, having this interview with you. I really appreciate you taking the time to open up your doors to me and helping me, you know, continue to and encouraging me to go forward in the things that I do. I can say that you really, you know, when I look at, you know, on my Facebook page, everything that you're doing, I'm like, he doing it, I can do it too. What he's doing is helping people. What I'm doing, I want to help people. So, you know, I thank you for sitting down with me, giving me the tea about what you're doing and who you are. And I look forward to seeing that Go-Go movie. That's great. Appreciate you coming out. And like I always say, just keep rocking. Okay. You heard him. Keep rocking. Add some sugar to that tea. Bye-bye.